Hello, hello, friends. Today we are doing something really fun. We are talking about how authors can take advantage of eclipse season without getting weird about it, unless you really want to, in which case I totally support your sparkle. Here's the truth. Eclipses do not have a proven direct scientific effect on creativity, but they do tend to stir up awe, emotion, reflection, and that big something is shifting feeling. And that can be incredible fuel for your writing, especially if you capture it right away. Today, I'm going to walk you through what's happening psychologically, why some writers feel super inspired while others feel a little more crunchy, and give you some practical, fun ways to turn eclipse season into pages. Prompts, sprints, plot ideas, and a simple 3-step plan you can use every time an eclipse happens. So grab your notebook, open a notes app, or hit record on a voice memo, and let's do it. If we haven't met before, I'm Rebecca Paciorek. I'm the host of the Authors Allies podcast, and I run the Authors Allies Roundtable, Done With You, Author Marketing Membership. So, like I said, today we are going to talk about your eclipse season playbook. And this is pretty fun because, as we know, it is eclipse season. But not only that, there is a Friday the 13th this month. So that is pretty daggone fun. And so we are going to talk a little bit about all of these fun things. Okay, so first we want to talk about what eclipse season is and what it isn't. It's not any kind of magical formula. There's no proven direct eclipse equals creativity switch. So I'm not here to talk about any of the woo, even though I love the woo. It is, however, a natural catalyst. And it's really interesting because eclipses often create a heightened sense of awareness and awe, right? And these are great raw materials for compelling writing. Sometimes during an eclipse, people are going to feel energized and buzzing with ideas, right? Other times, something like an eclipse can make you feel more reflective, contemplative. Is that how you even say that? Or even emotionally tender. But either way, both states are equally usable for your craft. So today's goal, what we want to learn to do, is a simple, practical way to capture these heightened moments and transform them into some creative, fun things for your writing. So here's the thing. The main thing about an eclipse or any sort of nature type thing like that, right, is it shifts our perspective. So we can widen our perspective and we can temporarily kind of loosen the grip of perfectionism. And of course, this creates space for bolder creative choices, right? The second thing that it does as part of this awe advantage is these novel sensory shifts can create sort of a fresh story material that you can mine for months later. Sometimes it's going to be unusual light, eerie quiet, just kind of those atmospheric changes, but that sensory richness is what you're looking for here. The third thing that can happen is we've got that collective energy going, right? So this shared experience of all these creative connections here, it can kind of boost the collaboration and community engagement and really create some momentum. Last year, actually maybe it's been a couple of years ago now, in Ohio, we were able to view a total eclipse with the sun, and it was amazing. Like, there were eclipse parties all over the place. And I had seen a couple of, partial eclipses before where we had to wear the glasses and all of that, but I had never experienced a full eclipse and experienced it outside. And it actually brought tears to my eyes. Oh my gosh, I'm getting chills right now just remembering it. It was a very moving experience. And it was just really neat to be able to go through this with like a bunch of people all standing together and doing that. And that brings me to the fourth thing, which is that emotional depth, right? It was a really intense feeling, and those feelings can become powerful sources for your character development, right? Or help you to be able to create a more vivid scene by living something like an eclipse or a tornado or again, hurricanes, any sort of big nature event like that. That intense or uncomfortable feeling really gets to become a powerful source for us to draw on for our creativity. Now, here's an interesting thing though. When I was looking at the research and trying to figure this out, really, like, what can an eclipse do for an author? I found out that there's a peak moment. The strongest creative boost often comes right after the awe, when your emotions and your sensations are still really vivid. And so, what the research suggests is that you plan a short writing sprint immediately after the event. Even if you just spend 6 to 10 minutes of raw, unfiltered writing, voice noting, whatever you need to do, this is the best time window for you to create that. And then schedule a second pass within 24 hours. This way, the details are still fresh in your mind, and this is when you can shape and develop that raw material into some sort of story, chapter, scene, whatever it is that you decide to do. But truly, the real win is going to come from intentionally repeating this practice of using awe moments on purpose. This way, you can build some sort of sustainable, repeatable system, ritual type thing that you can capture now and craft later. And you just don't let perfection steal the magic, right? And so, really using this type of event is just going to be great for your creativity. So here's what I want you to do though. Before the eclipse, okay, you want to set your container for this. Choose one intention, whether you're focusing on one image, one feeling, or one question that you want to explore. This one intention, clearly defined, is going to beat anything complex you can do, okay? The second thing I want you to do is to pick your capturing tool. Whether that's a physical notebook where you're jotting your notes down, whether you're using a phone notes app, a voice memo, or your camera, remove any decision making from the moment, because you want to be able to experience the eclipse or the nature, right? Without being that person who's got to take so many pictures that they miss the moment. You want to experience the moment. Then using that peak window, that's when you're going to have your capture tool ready to go. The third thing you need to do before the eclipse is define your container project, okay? What is this piece of work going to hold? Are you trying to do just one scene? Are you trying to do 10 micro pieces, or maybe a personal essay, or possibly a character sketch? Give your intention boundaries so that you know exactly what it is that you're looking for. The fourth thing that I want you to do is I want you to lower the bar. Remember, you're collecting raw gold here. It's just like when you have your raw crystal that you found versus that nice polished shiny piece versus your ring or earrings that you end up with, right? We're working on the raw piece, not your final draft. So give yourself permission to be messy, okay? Give yourself permission to create. So again, choose one intention, pick your capture tool, define your container, and lower the bar. Okay, so now what I want you to do during and immediately after, capture, don't judge. Okay, so again, you're going to collect your sensory details. What was the light quality like? What were the temperature shifts? Were there unexpected sounds, body sensations, tastes in the air? Really picture how it's happening, right? And then I want you to write the metaphor. Explore, reveal, obscure, endings, beginnings, shadows. Light the natural symbolism in your story. Okay? Then set a timer for 6 minutes. Let's call this the 6-minute awe burst, right? No stopping, no editing, no judgment. I want you to just let the words flow, either out of your mouth and into your phone, or handwritten on the page, or take a bunch of photos, whatever it is. 6-minute awe burst. It's like a little written word sprint, right? Now, once you get that done, I want you to go back, circle just one line, okay? Find the phrase that feels most alive to you, most electric, most true to what happened during the event. This is your seed that you're going to use for everything that follows. So remember, 6-minute awe burst. sprint. We're going to do it. Now, here's the next step that I want you to do. There are 13 ways that we have to potentially use this eclipse season. And I am going to provide you with some worksheets. So we're not going to go over all of these right now, but just know that there's 13 different ways that we're going to spark your curiosity. And you can see here from this slide that I'm showing on screen, there are various different types of methods. A couple things are going to include a 6-word memoir. Maybe we've got a shadow light theme pairing. Maybe you're going to use the eclipse itself as a plot device. Maybe there's going to be an outline from your emotions, okay? So there are 13 different ways that we can think about to use the eclipse. And then the next thing I'm going to provide you with is a prompt pack. This is going to be a quick pick. There are going to be several prompts. I believe I have 13 to go with Friday the 13th. There's 13 prompts, and what I want you to do is you're going to pick one of those prompts as a story starter. Now, if you're a person who doesn't like prompts or you want to work on something from what you've already got going, feel free. These are just some extra ideas to give you a little awe-inspiration, maybe we'll just create our own words here, to do something fun, right? So maybe you're going to pick the prompt that is mirrors lose reflections during totality except for one person. Why can they still see themselves? Write about that. Or maybe you're going to write a scene where the light changes mid-conversation and so does the truth being told. Here's a third one that's kind of fun. The moon refuses to move after an eclipse ends. One town reaches morning while the rest of them stay dark. See what I'm saying? These are some fun little prompts that you can totally use to come up with some additional interesting scenes. Bonus technique, you could take any of these prompts and turn them into a full scene by adding and then 3 times in a row. This happens and then. This happens and then. This happens and then. I think you've got the picture. So you're going to also be getting this prompt pack. So you're going to have 13 ways to use the eclipse season. You're going to have 13 prompts that you can pick from. And a couple of things I want you to remember when you're doing this. If eclipse energy feels really crunchy to you, don't force it. Some people find that it's actually a difficult thing for them to feel during an eclipse. If you're a highly intuitive or feeling person, don't try to force inspiration when it's not flowing. Instead, use some sort of grounding creativity like meditating or some other thing to help get you inspired. Also, another thing you could do is choose some low pressure tasks instead. Instead of the 6-minute awe burst and you use the techniques that we talked about above, just do a few low pressure tasks. Organize your notes, outline a scene, write a pure description without any dialogue. Just kind of work in a mode that feels comfortable and fun to you. The third thing you can do if eclipse energy is feeling a little crunchy for you, try something that is more of a comfort writing situation. Write a cozy scene, a sensory paragraph, a letter to one of your characters. This way, you're still doing something creative, but it's more of a calm, comforting type of thing. The most important thing is during a nature-inspired event like this, you want to honor your nervous system because your nervous system is part of your writing toolkit. If you need rest, that is creative intelligence in and of itself. Remember, rest counts, reflection counts, quiet counts. You're still a writer when you're recharging. You're just not writing at the moment, but your brain is still working on all of those stories, right? Okay, so when we get down here to the end, your 3-step eclipse season plan, you're going to go into it with an intention, right? The second step, you're going to capture the feelings in the event by doing a 6-minute all burst sprint as close to right after the event as possible. The third thing you're going to do is convert it. Within 24 hours of the event, I want you to take some time to transform whatever you wrote in your all burst sprint into your character sketch, your thematic exploration, work it into one of your chapters or pieces of your book, okay? All right. And one more thing that you might want to do just for funsies, when you are creating your intention, go into the session with a feel word for the eclipse season, right? Calm, brave, playful, devoted, unstoppable, whatever it is, this is something that you're going to be able to hold on to throughout the entire eclipse season. So pick one thing, just one method from today. Pick one thing that you're going to do and pick one prompt to play with. Then take that 3-step eclipse season plan, put it into action, and let me know how it turns out. I can't wait to read what you come up with. If you want to be able to do this within a community of other authors and writers, feel free to check out the Authors Allies Roundtable. $47 a month gets you a weekly live in-person book marketing coaching call, lots of templates and things, lots of videos, lots of community action within school. We are there for each other. We even have some in-person events from time to time if you're able to travel to Ohio. Let me know. I'm happy to give you a free month if you want to just come hang out with us and check it out. Have a great day, and we will talk to you soon. I will see you after the eclipse. Okay, friends, that's your eclipse season playbook. Remember, you're not waiting around for the universe to hand you a muse on a glittery platter. You're using a powerful moment, the awe, the sensory shift, the symbolism, to get into that more open, curious mindset that helps you to write. Here's your homework. Pick one method, just one. Try it the next time you notice that something feels bigger than me energy, right? Set a timer for 6 minutes, write without stopping, and then circle one image you could build an entire scene around. If you want, share your feel word for eclipse season with me. And if this episode helped, send it to an author friend who needs a little creative ignition right now. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I will see you next time.
That's all for this episode of Authors Allies. We hope you enjoyed our exploration of the literary world. Be sure to stay tuned for our next episode where we'll have more fascinating interviews, book reviews, and marketing tips. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. Leave us a review and share us with a friend. To get your free copy of our ebook, 10 Steps to Your Ultimate Book Marketing Plan, be sure to head over to our show notes. Until next time, happy reading and writing.